Robotics is the fastest growing career in the world and has the potential to revolutionize society. With robots taking over the more hazardous jobs expected of humans, careers such as firefighting, welding, clearing up industrial and nuclear waste allows humans to carry out dangerous tasks from a safe distance. Our candidate today is Ayanda, and she's doing just that. She's crazy about robotics and has asked 48 Hours to help her navigate through the careers that robotics is bringing into the world. Meet Ayanda, a physics student. She's adventurous and loves trying new things. Her hobbies include rollerblading and eating great food. She's a self-confessed artist and spends her time sketching and drawing. She loves mechanics too. She has an allergic reaction to Debbie Downers. Her mojo just can't take the negative energy field. Let's meet this positively charged dynamo in the form of Ayanda.
My name is Ayanda. I am 17 years old, currently in grade 12 in Technische School Langlaagte. The subjects that I'm currently doing are maths, physics, mechanical engineering, fitting and machining, and engineering graphics and design, and then the basics, English, LO, Afrikaans. I love engineering EGD because I get to draw and express myself there, and physics because it keeps my brain working. I started coding when I stumbled across Cybono, the computer clubhouse, which is in Newtown. It is an after-school program where we get to improve our skills in Photoshop, like coding included robotics and Blender, all of those stuff. So I tried almost all of them, but then I fell in love with coding more. I created my own website where it's a portfolio just about me. That gave me a platform to practice coding, and through coding I also learned to code my own app, and the app helps the learners get tutorials on my website. Robotics came about inside Clubhouse, so I was doing the coding, and then they had a team here, FTC team, the First Tech Challenge team. So they came to me and offered a spot in the robotics team. So I agreed to it because I wanted to know more about it. So in the team, we got to compete against other teams from other countries where we build and code a robot to compete in alliance format. I see myself in the future with robotics being successful, being known for making life easier. Today on 48 Hours, I would love to gain experience and skills regarding robotics engineering.
Comfort is a 23-year-old young man from Limpopo currently working as a software developer at Crisp Design. He's responsible for coding and developing algorithms. He lives and breathes robotics, and when he's not at work, he's making sure he's keeping up with the latest developments in science and technology. Comfort eagerly awaits Ayanda's arrival so he can share his knowledge and skills with her.
Thank you, Comfort, for having me. I have a whole lot of questions to ask you, but my first question is, what is Crisp Design and what do you do here?
Crisp Design is an educational program. What we do is we design kits so that we can teach teachers and learners about robotics. I create software that controls robots or automated components.
Well, for someone like me who wants to do robotics engineering, what course do I study?
Courses like mechanical engineering, a bachelor of mechatronics or mechanical engineering or electronics, or computer science. That's where you're going to learn more about programming. From university, the training involves theory. That's where you learn theoretical concepts of robotics and all the related subjects. And then once you're done with that, you're going to go into the industry where you're going to be learning through an in-service training.
So my last and important question is, what is the earning potential of a robotics engineer?
The earning potential of a robotics engineer ranges from 450,000 per year.
Okay, I see. Can make money out of this. I'm so excited to be in this lab, so would you please show me some work experience?
All right, let's get to it.
Coming up after the break, Ayanda lives a day in the life of her mentor, Comfort, and he even gives her the opportunity to code and manufacture her very own robotic arm. Earlier on, we met mechanical engineering student Ayanda, who's passionate about robotics. Now we introduce her to software developer Comfort, who codes and develops algorithms for robots at Crisp Design. Let's see how they're getting on as she shadows him around the office.
So today we're going to test a servo, making it turn 90 degrees or 180 degrees, which is going to benefit you on the task I'm going to give you today. The robot arm works with servos, so for you to control the arm, you need to give it instructions on how to turn and how many degrees to turn on the servos.
Okay.
So we're going to go through the system, how to use the software, and then push the code into this and making the servo move like this.
Okay.
Usually we prefer to use a function which says Arduino. Usually it gives you the logic of what's happening within this thing. So giving it the number of degrees to turn. 90. Yeah.
And then
180. Once the code is being uploaded, these LEDs are going to blink. Yeah, so these LEDs show you when the code is going into the controller. Yeah. So you see the LEDs, and then making it turn now. Waits for 1,000 milliseconds. Now it has to turn again.
It's turning slow.
So it's moving at a slow pace because of the milliseconds. So
should increase it?
Yeah.
To at least 5,000.
How about we try 100?
Okay, 100.
All right. So there must be something wrong with this servo. Let me try on a new servo.
As we're testing the servers to see if they work and telling them how to move, I didn't actually expect the waiting. So now we need to move this one here because it's clearly not working. So then we're going to use that one.
Yes.
To see. The same code. Do we have to redo anything here?
No,
the code?
No, we don't have to redo the code. We just need to send the signal straight back to this new servo.
Okay.
Yes. So this is it tells the code to move from 0 to 90, from 90 to 180, back to 0 again. So I'm ready to give you a task. So are you ready?
Yeah, give it to me.
All right.
I'm ready.
My first impressions of Ayanda was her energy. She's very enthusiastic. She's eager to learn. I'm impressed with the questions she was asking about all the components and everything that includes robotics. And I'm glad we went through checking faulty servos and all that. So the task I have for you is, I've had this robot arm for a while. So it has 2 broken servos. What I'll need from you is to repair these 2 servos and replace them with the new ones for the robot arm to work.
Okay.
Yes.
I see.
I have the screwdriver here.
Okay.
And you can replace this. These are new servos. These are the new connectors you can add on the new servos.
Okay. The challenge that I was given today, I had to remove 2 servos from a robot that were not working. So I had to disassemble the robot so I can remove the broken servos and replace them with the new servos, at the same time reassembling the whole machine and then having to code it again so it can move the way I wanted it to move. Right now, I do not know how to remove this part because I need to get it out of here. So
Elementary, Ayanda. It seems the simplest elements can cause the most frustration.
Okay.
Chin up, Ayanda. You can do this.
So since I removed this one with the rocker arm that it was with, I'm going to get the new servo
New servo.
and then replace it also with the same rocker arm that one had.
Her strengths were very aligned with mechanics because she was not really good with the strength of programming in terms of programming in robotics, but she was good in terms of the GUI and UI in terms of user interface.
Challenge that I got was mainly the first part, disassembling it when I had to remove some parts, still open up the server to get the parts out, and the little screws that I had to remove because I'm used to fitting more bigger stuff instead of the tiny one that I had today. This is very tiny and I have to fit it here into this rocker arm. Okay, this part is very tiring. During the task, as I was disassembling the robot, the tiny screws that I had to remove were just going all over the place and going missing, and it was kind of messy where I was working, but then yeah, it was fun. When I was coding my robot, I felt a bit more relieved and relaxed knowing that I'm almost done, and then fingers crossed while I was busy programming that it was going to actually work, because I didn't want another challenge again, because if I had another challenge, I was going to give up.
See, your logic works.
And I'm very glad that it actually worked. Thank you. Great job that we both did, and me specifically. My first day in 48 hours was fun, exciting, fruitful, and exhausting. Very tiring, but all in all, I had fun and learned new things.
She did very well with the challenge. I was impressed with her ways of handling the mechanics of the robotic arm, and I was impressed, very impressed.
Coming up after the break, Ayanda meets the founder of Crisp Design, Yoshlyn and Nthatov. She learns the ins and outs of pioneering her own future in robotics. She also gets to pitch to them. But will she make a good impression? Stay tuned to find out. Before the break, Ayanda completed a complex task repairing a robotic arm under the guidance of her mentor, Comfort. Now she meets entrepreneur Yoshlyn and Nthatov to find out more about the business opportunities available in the robotics industry. First, let's catch up with Ayanda about her first day on the job.
Yesterday I had a great day on 48 hours, and today I am going to meet Yoshlyn and Nthatov, who is an entrepreneur in the robotics engineering. And that's my first time ever getting to know about it, so I'm excited for today. I want to pick his brain about entrepreneurship, and I'm going to pitch my app idea to him, and hopefully he will help. So I'm excited for today. Let's go.
48 hours went behind the scenes to give our candidate the lowdown on who she's about to meet. We hope this helps her pitch.
My name is Yoshlyn and Nthatov. I'm an entrepreneur with a background in engineering. I'm really passionate about technology. So when I completed my degree at UKZN, it was around 2009, mid-recession, and I was actually looking for a job. I then got a scholarship to do some research at the Mechatronics and Robotics Research Group at UKZN. And I started doing some research on using drones for search and rescue. And at the time, it wasn't a really established field. So it was seen as something really novel and something really forward-thinking. The natural transition from there was then to move on to the aerospace industry and the defense industry. So I applied for a position at Denel, and then I got in. And that's when my career really, accelerated. So I met Nthatov at Denel. He was a few years younger than me, and he had a real passion for education, which I resonated with as well. I've always been interested in the startup culture and starting a company, but we also found something that could be a real social impact, have real social impact. with crisp design. So when we came up with the idea, it was by being aware that there was this real misalignment between what kids needed to be learning at school versus what they actually were. And that was just seeing it at the pinnacle of what we were doing versus what schools were doing. When we started the company, we were always going to be a social enterprise. So we always knew that whatever technology or solution that we were going to come up with, it always has to be something that would create a solution to make people's lives better. That's why we started with the robotics education product. But we foresee our future being involved in many things and using our capabilities to solve a lot more problems. But this was the first immediate one. So the message that I have is you've got to follow your passion and follow your dreams, and be resilient. Like, it's not going to always work out. There's always going to be setbacks. There's always going to be people doubting you. But you've got to have some self-belief. You've got to be mindful of yourself and figure out where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are. Work on your weaknesses and play to your strengths. Yeah.
Hi, Yoshlyn.
Hi, Ayanda. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I am so excited to be here and learn more about the entrepreneurial side of robotics engineering.
Awesome. It's lovely to have you here.
You recognize a gap in the market and decided you're going to start a business. So what were the challenges?
Well, there were many challenges. From the time, so we were employed and we were working. And the first thing we thought about is how we were going to fund it. We looked for grant funding. And this is technically funding that a company or an organization would give you to help you start your business if you were doing something that was of value to them. Because we wanted to improve the quality of education for children in South Africa, we entered the Social Innovation Awards. And that's how we got the first bit of funding that we needed to start the business.
So what did you think you could add into the industry?
So when we came up with the idea, we were in the aerospace industry, aerospace and defense, which is a completely different industry, right? So I think sometimes diversification of thinking helps when you're trying to solve a problem. Because we identified a problem in the education industry that we could solve with technology, because we saw what impacts it could make. And I mean, when we saw how relevant robotics and coding is in the future of work and what kids were learning at school, we knew that definitely developing a robotics resource for education to help teachers teach it would definitely help.
What are the pros and cons of being your own boss?
When you start a business, you can't really afford to employ a lot of people. So you've got to be really adaptable. As an entrepreneur, you get to be exposed to a lot more things, and it's always up to you to figure out what is the best way for me to do something, So it also you have to be creative sometimes and innovative, and being constrained in terms of not getting enough funding or whatever does make you quite creative and innovative, because now you have to figure out how to do the things you want to do, but with just the little that you have. So that's one cool thing. It really does keep you on your toes.
I feel that he answered all my questions on entrepreneurship very well, and even more, because now I have a better view of things. So I have an idea that I want to do, because the problem that we have mostly with technical learners, we don't have tutorials, easy to find tutorials, because we mainly go to the textbook, we learn from school, then you just download past papers, practice with them, and just write for the sake of writing, getting marks. So I've noticed with some of the learners in my class, they would love to have tutorials, like how we have maths tutorials. We'll learn at school, but still go home and watch tutorial videos, get extra practice papers. So now, when it comes to technical subject, that's where I mainly see the problem. So I want to create an app where it's easy accessible to all learners who do technical subjects, easy to use app where they can learn and then recommend it to other people and hopefully go international with this app.
I think it's a really great idea because you're already empathizing with the end user and you're one of the users of your product. Could you show me something maybe on the whiteboard?
Yeah, definitely. Okay. So now I'm just going to show you the cover page of it from a phone perspective. We called our app Academic Village. We used what you call a suite of books with a graduation hat on top as the logo. So I put it as a circle. So this way it's written. So The first page, you'll have you sign in or sign up. The logo will now come up here with Academic Village written here.
Okay.
And then, you know how the sign up works, where you put your name, your surname, then your age, your grade, and we put our age so we can get stats of the age group that we be having, then the grade, and then subjects. I actually have a challenge while coding, because sometimes you use grids and blocks to place your header and all of that. So I kind of get confused me sometimes. And then also the challenge that I foresee coming is linking. It's like when you're in your subject choice and now you want to watch the tutorial, how to link it all, and you can just go directly to YouTube, wherever it's gonna go, so you can play. So those are the challenges that I'm facing. Yeah.
Okay, that's actually technical challenges that a lot of app developers actually go through when they develop. And it just comes down to developing your skill or honing your skill. Or if it's something that's really specialized, maybe find a friend or someone that you know who's really good at that.
Okay.
Like, for example, when you're putting together this great user interface, if you know someone who's interested in graphic design, get them involved and get their opinion. Diversification of thinking really helps. So when I first met Ayanda, I was quite impressed by her demeanor. I think she really was passionate about robotics. The fact that she was really proactive and really wanted to come see what we're doing. And you could see those elements that we were looking for in terms of a growth mindset. You can see that she's excited to learn, she's excited to explore new things. I think her pitch was brilliant. I think she really followed the 21st century model, where she found a problem that a lot of her peers were having, and she actually came up with a solution for that problem. And now she's actually pursuing it further and developing it. She's showing that perseverance and resilience, that she has what it takes to be an entrepreneur. I think the skills that she needs to develop, it probably comes around confidence. Obviously, being a young person and not having a lot of experience, you may think that you won't be able to do certain things. So I can see that she is a bit uncertain of whether she can do certain things. But I think that's where that growth mindset would really come in.
We've almost come to the end of a jam-packed 48 hours, but we'd like to do something that makes life just a wee bit better for Ayanda.
Okay, Ayanda, so you've been here for 48 hours and you've got some experience at Crisp Design.
Yes.
And we'd like to just give you a bit of news, and thoughts if you could share with her.
Yeah, so we've decided, Yoshlyn spoke to me, told me how well you were doing over the 48 hours. So we've decided to actually offer you an opportunity to have a full 1-week internship at the company. So you can get some experience and see if you actually love this world of robotics, programming, software, and all of that. How do you feel about that?
Unbelievable.
Okay. Super happy that you're...
Super happy.
Okay, no problem.
Oh, my friends are gonna be jealous. Well, the surprise was just amazing and I loved it. It was unexpected, so yeah, I didn't know how to react, whether to cry or to laugh, then yeah, but I'm very glad.
My final message is to keep being courageous, keep persevering. From what I've seen, there's only good things to come. She's going to be really successful.
If you want to be part of the 48-hour experience, contact us on our social media page. If you're interested in more careers, make sure to go to our YouTube page and get inspired.